Well, good afternoon. I'm Neil Weber with Starin, and I'm very excited about today's town hall. Now, if this is your first time, the Starin Town Hall meeting is where you have the ability to ask one of our manufacturers any question you want. Now, that's not questions I want to ask them, like, how do you like your steak? What do you like on your grilled cheese? But the questions that you want to know. So anything and everything you want to ask our friends today at Town Hall is open season. So today our very special guest is Neoti LED Displays. Before we introduce our special guest, let me introduce you to our man Chase Bernhardt. He's our market development manager for our walls and displays division. Hello, Chase.
Hello, everybody.
Chase is going to be our moderator. He's going to be reading off the questions and the like, and interpreting your questions as they come in and handling them, and passing them on to our special guests. We have Aaron Kipfer, Chief Technology Officer, and Olivia Reeves, Business Development Director. Say hello, you two.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
You're on video. You look great. Good to see you.
About that.
Thanks for joining us here. We appreciate it. So you can use the chat function to submit your questions, and we will get to those in the order that they come in, or if it's relevant based on the flow of the discussion as it goes. If somebody else has a question that's a follow-up, we'll bring that in as well. So we're constantly watching that. Well, Chase is constantly watching that anyway. And listen, if we don't get to all the questions, we will certainly answer them after the fact and then send out the questions and the answers to everybody that's in attendance. Is that right, Chase? I want to make sure I didn't misspeak.
That is correct. You'll hear from myself or Neil.
Excelente. Well, then let's get started. Let's start with question number one.
I'm the lucky guy that gets to give this question. So you guys were able to present at InfoComm this year, and you presented what you called the 4D method. And I was hoping that we could talk a little bit about what that was and how you use that when you are talking about LED and choosing the right LED option.
Well, I can start off. Obviously, in the direct view LED video display world, there's several factors that you need to look at to make sure you're getting the right display for that customer's end goal. And the first D that we often look at is the distance. And by distance, we're looking at how close the viewers are to the display. So general rule of thumb, and maybe we need to take it a step back with pixel pitch. The pixel pitch of a display is the distance between the two diodes on the LED video display. That distance is measured in millimeters. So if we have a display, and obviously the smaller the number, the tighter the screen, but if we have a display, for an example, in the chart in front of you, that is a 2.9, general rule of thumb is you take that pixel pitch, multiply it by 3 feet, give or take a little bit, and that gives you the optimal viewing distance, which means that that's when the pixelation begins to disappear, and you're seeing more of a clear image at that point. So, you know, for someone who's looking at a retail application, they're going to be looking at something much tighter in a 1.5 range. Because in a retail application, people are going to be very close to the display. Where somebody who's in a church setting, a 5.9 or 4 millimeter may work depending on the depth of the stage and how close that first line of attendees is sitting to the stage. So distance is, that's when we're looking at distance, that's one of the first questions we ask. And then beyond the distance, which Aaron will touch base on this a little bit, is just what type of content and what's the customers' overall end goals. So, you know, is it a museum application where they're wanting really detailed content to come through on the display? That may affect the pixel pitch as well. Or is it more of an environment application and it's enhancing the environment with the display? So we'll get into that a little bit more with the details later. But as far as the distance, that's one of the first questions we're asking to try to identify what display might be best for their application.
Yeah, and then the second, and really kind of the third, they kind of go together, are domain and design. Domain is simply just where the LED screen is going to be, the domain and environment that it's going to be in. So is it an outdoor display? Is it an indoor display? Is there a lot of ambient lighting that you need to be concerned about? Is it going to be on camera? Is it not going to be on camera? And then what do you want the display to look like? Is it going to be circular, triangular, a regular square display that you're just replacing, maybe a projector on a wall? All of those things affect the type of not only pixel pitch that's used, but also the type of product that's used as well. There's really no one single product that will solve all problems. And so drilling down through these 4Ds really gets you to the heart of the matter. And then the last D is details in the method. And the details are all the little things that can easily be missed, and where it usually has the biggest impact on pricing at that level. Details such as which specific diodes will be used, LED diodes, which specific ones will be used, what other internal components are going to be used, because not every LED panel is created with the same type of componentry, especially when you're looking only at price. Price can be greatly affected by using a substandard diode or maybe a substandard IC driver or chip that's on the display. Whereas, if you're not familiar with purchasing LED, those are some easy ways for one product over another to look like it's much cheaper. Typically, there's a reason why that is. You'll find that of all the top tier manufacturers that are out there, price doesn't fluctuate a lot. And when you see that it does, that's a cause for concern and a cause for question to say, hey, why is the price different? And looking really at those details that are making up that order to kind of figure out what. So that's the 4D method that we have. It's just the distance, the domain, the design, and the details.
Perfect. To go a little bit deeper into the details, we have types of LED up here. Would you be able to go into a little bit more detail on those types of LED?
Sure. The main types that are out there currently are, and there's actually a few more that aren't listed on here, but VIP is what's been around probably the longest. VIP are actual bulbs, the red, green, and blue lamps or bulbs that are closely resemble Christmas lights to make it easy for people to understand. And clustered together with the red, green, and blue, they actually make all the other colors that are available just by basic color theory. And so the DIP lamps are typically used in outdoor environments. They were used almost exclusively for a long time if you go back 15 years or so. But those are primarily used for outdoor environments where they handle rugged environments much better than SMD because they actually have an anode and cathode point of contact that actually punches through the actual circuit board and then gets soldered onto the back. So much more rugged than an SMD, which is the next style and more popular right now. And also the reason why we've been able to go from maybe like a 16 or 20 or 30 or 40 millimeter that you see on maybe billboards that are outdoors to a much tighter 0.9 or 1.2 millimeter that you're starting to see indoors for really high quality applications. It's because those same red and green, blue, instead of making them into bulbs, there's actually chips that are being used, and those chips can be minuscule and clustered into very small packages that are then surface mounted, which is hence the name surface mounted diodes, SMD. Those are surface mounted onto a circuit board. So a little bit less rigid, a little bit easier to maybe scrape off or to bump off, especially once you start getting down to really small pieces. And so that kind of had rebirthed some technology that's been around for a while, but it's kind of rebirthed in the narrow pixel pitch or the really high quality LED products, and that's COB. You're starting to see a little bit of a rebirth of that, in that that is where instead of placing those three red, green, and blue chips into a smaller SMD package, those 3 chips are being placed directly onto the circuit board, negating the need for any kind of surface mounting as far as an actual SMD chip goes, but the minuscule red, green, and blue chips are actually put directly on the circuit board. And that allows for not only fewer things that can go wrong, but then on COB products, typically there's a coating applied, where on the SMDs, there's a small amount of coating that's applied on each chip. On the COB product, the coating is applied over the entire module, which makes it much more durable. In most cases, makes it completely water and dust proof from a module standpoint, and makes it perfect for applications where maybe it's in a retail environment or an airport where people have the opportunity to touch it or to bump up against it, which is really the case. And it keeps them from damaging the screen as easily as they could an SMD product in the same environment. So we're starting to see COB pop up a lot in environments where screens are at touching level, whether it's, like I said, in retail or not. But those are the 3 main types. There are some micro and mini LED technologies and then beyond, but those are the 3 that are most popular and most cost effective at this day and age.
And first question is, what is the UHD series that you guys carry? What is that? Which type is that?
That is SMD.
Okay.
Yep. We also do have a COB series that has the same mirroring pixel pitches almost, but the UHD series is the SMD.
All right, we have some more questions popping up here. Let's see. You talked a little bit about indoor versus outdoor. So would the COB be a good product for the outdoor use?
COB can be used for outdoor in certain environments. It's still not great for outdoor use, primarily because of brightness. Because the module itself can be waterproofed, and we can waterproof a cabinet as well. The challenge comes into play with the brightness of the actual module itself. We're still not able to push the brightness high enough to really combat direct sunlight. So this wouldn't be a product that you would put on the outside of a building yet, but maybe in an atrium or in like underneath an overhang where it's mostly shadowed during the day. Things like that are good candidates for COB. It still has to be determined, is it the best product for that environment? Some things to look out for in putting COB in even a semi-outdoor environment would be UV effects on the coating for that specific product, things like that. We're not seeing it a lot. We have had a few requests of that type of a nature. Can we put this outdoor? And so far it's not something that we're recommending, but it's certainly within the scope of future application.
Cool. I know we've definitely gotten some requests for it as well, and some unique applications for it too,
Yeah.
Even recently. Diving a little bit further, this is a good question. When building a wall, what are some guidelines or suggestions you have regarding the support structure and weight balancing?
Sure. Well, it depends on how you're building the wall. If it's, primarily for most of the products that we carry, they're going to be surface mounted, or if not surface mounted, directly on a wall with a subframe that would be provided by us as well, or at least directed by us as well. We kind of work with integrators, work with dealers and resellers, and to determine what the best method for installation for their specific application is. We have pre-made wall mount kits, things of that nature, or it could simply be as simple as something like Unistrut or 80-20 type of material that could be used to mount these onto a wall. For outdoor environments, obviously all of that changes. And it's just a matter of engineering, making sure that the structure that's being used is being used correctly. Almost all of them almost all of our products have a simple four-hole mounting method on the back of the panels. The panels range in different sizes depending on the series, but they all have either threaded or through holes on the corners of the cabinets. Again, almost all of our products are cabinet-based, which is a little bit different than some providers. And so when we're looking at putting something together, it's all cabinet-based, and each cabinet kind of withstands its own structure. Then the only limitation is if you're going to maybe stack cabinets on a surface or on a floor and just put some tip support behind it, then the only consideration is how many cabinets can be stacked on top of each other with the type of cabinet material that's being used because of the vertical load. But it really depends on the application. It becomes a little bit of a detailed question based on how you're actually going to install it, because they can install, like I said, as a surface wall mount with some bracketry, or if it's in an environment where it's going to be elevated, maybe there's a support structure underneath it, and it's more or less just resting on that surface with some vertical poles or something behind it to provide the tip support that it needs. So it really just depends.
Thank you. Okay, next one we've got is, are there new vertical markets you are seeing LED showing up in? Any special considerations that need to be taken?
As far as vertical markets, it's more product driven right now, where we're seeing the narrow pixel pitch really take off. And those narrow pixel pitch applications are in your retail settings, your corporate environments, a lot of your control room, museums, broadcast settings. Chase is putting some images up here of some projects that we have done in the broadcast area with the narrow pixel pitch. But as far as vertical markets, it's pretty much anything within the narrow pixel pitch arena, unless you would comment.
Yeah, the only emerging market I would see, and it's not so emerging, but we're starting to see the house of worship category grow pretty quickly, replacing projectors. They're starting to find that as projectors are reaching the end of life, they're looking at new projection systems. The cost of LED has come down so much that they're very cost comparative anymore when you look at replacing lamps and things like that on projectors. So that's probably one of the higher growth ones we're seeing right now. Control rooms and boardrooms and things like that, and almost anywhere a projector is being used, we've seen kind of steadily increase in growth as prices are coming down on LED products. But it's really anywhere that you've seen, TVs or projectors. If you've seen those in current places, they're slowly starting to convert those to LED products of some sort.
All right. We've got another question here. What is the use hour rating, contrast, or nit rating of those different LED types that we talked about before? The DLP, SMD, and COB.
Sure. For indoor products like the UHD series and the COB series, indoor products typically range from anywhere from 600 to 1200 nits. And for outdoor products like our Eco series, they can range anywhere between 5,000 and 12,000 nits. Again, some of that comes down to there's a standard products because you kind of have to start somewhere. So we start with a base product, and all of our products start at a base level. These are kind of the standards that we see are the best marrying of price versus performance. But in the LED world, the nice thing is that you can adjust some things to increase or decrease both price and performance. So if you have a use case where on the spec sheets, the standard nit rating is 600, but you have a case where you would like it to be 800 or 900 or maybe even 1200, then it's simply just a conversation that needs to be had. Can this be increased to this number? And typically the answer is yes, within some reason, but that also usually increases the price a little bit, and also the lead time is the other thing that you have to consider. At the standard product ratings, lead times are generally for new product, if it's not something that's in stock, which Darren is great about keeping things in stock, but if it's something that's not in stock, then lead times are typically 60 to 90 days at minimum. But if you start to customize things, that can increase it, up to 120 days or so, depending on what is actually being changed out. But yeah, the same thing goes for color, and really almost every aspect of the LED product. But our spec sheets that are available list all of our standard specs, but then almost everything is adjustable to match a certain requirement.
Awesome. All right. Next question was, is your product only available through Starin? We definitely partnered with you guys to make sure that we have a number of the UHD pixel pitches in stock. You definitely got the 1.2, 1.5, and 2.5 ready to rock and roll. But do you guys sell direct to the end user, or dealers would like to know if there's anywhere else to get this product?
Sure.
Yeah, so with our relationship with Starin, there are some protected markets that broadcast, obviously being one of them, where we do sell direct to the end customer. However, otherwise we're pushing that through Starin when we're getting those end clients, and they are graciously pairing them with an AV integrator or reseller that best matches their needs.
Perfect. Yeah, my team is ready to help out with anything that you need, that's for sure. Next question we have, how does Neoti handle service and warranty related requests?
That's a good question. We actually service and warranty everything here out of Indiana, out of our headquarters in Indiana. So as far as general warranty servicing, everything, a request is made via the phone or through our website for an RMA, and then an RMA number gets submitted and returned, and the client pays for shipping to us for warranty repairs, and we pay for the return shipping. And then there's no charge for any warranty service that's performed. And with that said, 99% of warranty servicing is related to modules. And so within each cabinet, there are individual, modules that the more than likely the things that go wrong are things like a diode will go out or change to a different color because of the soldering issues that could arise based on the environment. Maybe a driver or something on the circuit board has malfunctioned. That is something that when we train or when we are part of commissioning, which we can also do, we make sure that the end user, whether through the resellers training or again through our help with commissioning, the end user is aware how to replace individual modules, typically a 5-minute repair for almost anything that goes wrong on a video wall that we provide. And so it's a very simple fix if something goes wrong, which is an advantage of, LED, direct view LED over things like monitor walls, things like that, where you have to replace an entire TV. Typically you're replacing maybe a 6-inch square with a couple ribbon cables, and that's it, with a spare that would be on site. And so then that module that was removed would be then sent to us for repair. We would repair it in-house and send it back. If it becomes something that's a greater issue that would require on-site servicing, we can handle and dispatch through our headquarters here as well. on-site servicing. We offer phone service as well. That's, I mean, pretty much the whole gamut of service is one of the things that we pride ourselves on. We have robotics equipment and a service team that's here full-time in-house to handle everything here. So unlike some other manufacturers that may have to ship some things overseas or whatever, everything we do is here in Indiana. Anybody's welcome to stop by and verify and see what we do. But yeah, there's one thing we're proud of.
Thanks. All right, here's another good question. What are the main differences between direct from China products and Neoti products?
That is a good question. To start with, our products are still manufactured by contract factories in China. So our products, as everybody's products, with the exception of maybe one company that is here in the US, almost everything is still sourced in China, whether it's manufactured or assembled or whatever here in the US. The supply chain is so large in China that because that's where this technology began. And so everything from the diodes to the PCBs to the IC drivers to the raw materials, everything is so compacted there in China that's where most everything is created. And so we went over the last 6 years and have vetted out certain factories for quality control measures, the size of their factory, the team, their capabilities, things of that nature, to choose who we wanted making our products. And so everything still comes from there. There are a lot of good factories in China, and so it's kind of a two-sided question. There are some really good factories in China that are making good quality products that we would, if we were comparing ours to, and we do sometimes for different clients, are involved in shootouts and things with some of the top tier manufacturers like Layard or Epson or Samsung and others, where we pit our product one-on-one with theirs right in front of, you know, a panel or of people who are judging it. And all of those products are coming from direct from China, even though they have other, you know, everybody else has their different names on them. And so if you're working with a top tier manufacturer, somebody who has high quality control standards or using high quality products or high quality components, you're really not going to get much difference product-wise, except for the fact that if you have specific applications and you think you're ordering one thing and you get something else, that's where the biggest challenge comes from. And most people, when they think of direct from China manufacturers, they're referring to the ones that you see at the trade show that you've never heard of before, not necessarily the 4 or 5 that you see at every trade show. But there are literally thousands of them that pop up every year. Everything from a 1 to 2 man team, they're just, you know, have an idea and they're pushing it. And just as many of them go bankrupt every year or go out of business. And a lot of times what happens with most of those manufacturers that you have to watch out for, and what has kind of given that whole industry a bad name, is that there are a lot of manufacturers that will either sell you one thing and provide you something completely different. And because most buyers don't necessarily know the technical details of what they're buying, because it's either new to them or they just don't have the experience in LED, then that's an easy way for the manufacturer to save some money, to make a little extra margin on their end, because they swap out a few components that still technically work the same, but may not have the same life expectancy, or the same things like refresh rate can be affected. So if it's going to be on camera or something similar, then maybe they use an inferior IC driver or an inferior receiving card or something to that nature that's going to degrade overall the value of the product, but is not necessarily given to the customer as information ahead of time. Some other things that you get are one of the biggest, at least that I feel, is quality control standards vary greatly between different factories. And so even if they are using quality products, there may be standards that they're using in the manufacturing process that aren't that great, that really reduce, again, the effectiveness of the product long term. And sometimes those things don't pop up, on day one of an install, but maybe day 30 or day 100 or, year 2, you start to see some things that aren't going the way that they should be. And a lot of that can be traced back to maybe some components or some changes that were made that the client wasn't aware of.
I think if I might add on to what Aaron's saying, beyond just product, it's what we mentioned earlier, the service after the product has been installed, and your support and the availability of your support. Speaking from the front end, when I'm corresponding with individuals, a lot of times what we're hearing, even with those top tier manufacturers, is that when there is an issue that arises, they're having trouble getting a hold of those overseas manufacturers and getting the support that they're needing for their display. So, we're here committed for the long run. And the thing that I like what Aaron said is just us being very transparent with the component that you're getting within that product. And we're validating that how it is being manufactured and the quality of the manufacturing process. So, we're on site with our factories, making sure that they're meeting our standards and that you're not going to be surprised with the product that you get.
Yeah, I think Aaron's been back and forth to China so many times. His next flight, you can actually qualify for flying the plane. Like you're at that level with Delta now.
Yeah, I should be. I just got back from a 2-week stint last week. So, yeah.
I thought. You guys have been doing a great job with asking questions and loading them in. So I really appreciate it. Well done on the support. Chase, what else do we have?
I've got one good one here, and then we can start to wrap it up. But this one is important, and to speak to, you're on site with manufacturers, but you're also on site with integrators, even ones that are new, getting into LED as well. Can you talk a little bit about the installation support that we can offer?
So we have a 4-tier installation support, and it just the integrator can select which tier best matches their needs. The first tier would be a full installation, where our team would come in and fully install the display, as well as the mounting and structure if that's required as part of the package. In addition to that, we would be on-site commissioning and training the end user. So that's a full package. Some integrators prefer that. They're very busy. They want to be hands-off with the installation process. The tier 2 would be for more of those integrators, resellers who are looking to learn our specific product line, or just want that support of our team alongside of their team. And in the tier 2 is what we do is we send along an LED project manager. So they're on site overseeing the project and guiding the team of the AV integrator reseller, or training them along the way. And a lot of times AV integrators or resellers will use this tier 2 or 2 to 3 times to get acquainted with our product and how it comes together easily, and understand how it might differentiate from other products they've used. And then it allows them to continue and sorry, before I go into tier 3, it does include the commissioning and training as well. Tier 3 would be that our team member would just come on for the commissioning and training. And then tier 4 would be obviously no support, just phone support as needed. So, depending on the preference and what is needed, we're very flexible, and, it's important to us to be that support to you to ensure that all aspects of the project are being met.
Perfect. All right. Well, do you have any last comments, thoughts, suggestions, anything to leave to our viewers today?
Well, I think I would encourage the viewers to please use us as a resource through Starin. You know, it's one thing for us to sit here and talk to you about what we do and how we differentiate from other manufacturers out there. But I would challenge you to use us as a resource as you come up across projects that might be challenging or have unique circumstances, or just, you know, to use this as maybe a comparison to other manufacturers that you're looking at. And just, you know, we're a firm believer that our actions are, and our values that we hold as a company, set us apart from others. And so Aaron and I guess I can't speak for Aaron, but I know Aaron's personality. He's always available to support in whatever way we can.
Great. Thank you guys very much. This has been wonderful. Neil, I think we have some closing remarks too.
This has been a total gas. This is a lot of fun, very informative, and I really appreciate our listeners that have asked their questions and those that have sat through it. And I hope it's been enlightening for you as it has been for me. Hey, you know what? We do have a prize drawing to give away, do we not? Yes, we've got an Amazon $50 gift card. The random selected winner is Mary Ellen Milanese DiStasio. I hope I didn't butcher your name, Mary Ellen. Sorry, but congratulations. And thanks for joining us. I want to be sure to reference so that everybody knows that we've got, you heard just one part of our entire team that's devoted to LED wall execution. That's Chase, obviously, as he leads up this team. But this team is devoted on the Starin side to everything from customer engagement to fact-finding to design to quoting to on-site support, and in conjunction with our friends and neighbors here at Neoti. And I say neighbors because we're all out of Indiana. But don't forget that we've got this entire team dedicated to your success with LEDs. Give us a try. Let us quote a system for you. Chase, how would they reach out to you?
Sales@starin.biz is the easiest way to get our attention. Other than that, I mean, we can get you set up with some product out in the field and do some demos. We can get Neoti on the call as well with your customer if you need to. So we are here to surround you with service. So let us know how we can help. Bring any projects you have to us, and we'll be sure to get you a full solution ready to rock and roll. Joe Dunbar is also on our team. He's our champion visualization design expert, and he will be able to help design some of these projects with you along the way as well. So we are waiting in the wings.
That's right, from controllers to display and everything in the signal chain. Aaron, Olivia, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your expertise. We appreciate our friendship and our working partnership as well.
Likewise. All right, thanks.
You bet. As the sign says, join us on Thursday, September 26th at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, if you're in Eastern Time like I am. Our next town hall is featuring advanced network devices. We're going to have Dan Gorski and Abel Juarez joining us. So thanks again for the time. And until next time, have a great weekend. Actually, a great week and then a weekend after that. Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.